and also to interact with other kids, and they love every second of it.
Female Football Week is designed to help develop females into the sport. It's about really acknowledging the women around the sport, not just players, not just coaches, but the administrators, the volunteers. Women need to be supported at all levels throughout the game. It's got to start from the top, coming down and filter through how they feel their club should be organised. Mini Roos is a great initiative. It's all about designing a program that is fun for girls to just turn up, have a laugh, a kick and a giggle with their friends and learn to play the game. It's vitally important that the kids start at a young age to learn to develop the game, the 4 core skills of the game, but most importantly, love it and enjoy the game. Refereeing is a little bit of a good point for me, being a fellow referee, but it's always great to see more and more women taking up the sport in refereeing, because not everyone makes it as a player. Some people get injured at an early age, so they turn to refereeing. I think it's great. Our female referees are some of the world's greatest at the international level, so it's a good pathway for them as well.
Just like a regular football team, refs are also a team when they go out in the park, so that means we train together. And when you're training with each other, you get to bounce ideas off each other if you don't know something.
Here on the Sunshine Coast, we have always had our juniors referees training with our senior referees, and I just think it's so important that we train together as one team. It's really important that we have that network of referees, and we have a very strong bond here, and I think that helps us perform as a team on the weekends come game day.
The structure on the Sunshine Coast incorporates referees of all different levels. It's really good as someone can ask a question and you'll have experiences from grassroots to NPL and to W League, and they'll be able to help and break down what the question is and get the right answer.
I'm someone who likes to do something different, and every game there's a different challenge. Whether it's a player, whether it's you've never seen the tackle before or that incident has never happened before. And discussing it and trying to get it right the next time. That's what I really enjoy.
Here in Queensland, we've been so fortunate to have top-level coaches in this state. At the end of the day, that has really benefited our referees, and it has been shown over many years now that Queensland has the leading referees within Australia.
Training to me is very important as my development of a referee, because the game is getting very quick and we as referees have to increase our fitness so we can stay focused for the whole 90 minutes of the game.
We have to train 2-3 times a week, then Friday or Saturday or Sunday we might have 2 or 3 games during the weekend. So it's a pretty full-on week on top of work and other commitments that we have to achieve as well, but we love it, so we do it.
As a referee. Well, welcome back to Meakin Park. As you can see, the players are out from both teams. A couple of substitutions at half-time for Final of Queensland's heat. Joshua Pinn's been replaced by Matthew Phillip, and Sean Owens, he's been replaced by Shiki Ono. Shiki Ono started the first 2 games, didn't play last week, and is coming in off the bench today, and Phillip's making his 3rd appearance, all 3 having come from the bench. Final of Queensland heat in the green, trail the Brisbane Roar youth by a 1-0. Nathan Yoon, former Brisbane City youth player, one of many in this Brisbane Roar side. It's a credit to the Brisbane City coaches and academy setup that they've got down there up at Newmarket. Doing some great work in producing young players, as the Roar will certainly hope to be doing in their new academy partnership with Olympic FC, where this game was originally meant to be taking place at Goodwin Park, but unfortunately that has been washed out due to the wet weather that we've been experiencing in Brisbane. And as you can see, perhaps in the distance, maybe about to get some more of in this second half, as Fun of Queensland Heat look to clear through Kevin Ward. It's slightly dangerous, low clearance, but that's excellently won there by Aaron Reardon, and Reardon is dispossessed by the substitute, Shiki Ono. But Raw have been brilliant in possession so far this game, and it could be an opportunity. And it's so nearly played through by Rahmat Akbari, but he can't quite latch onto that through ball from Nathan Yoon, the goal scorer, and the Heat cleared, but just keeps coming back at the Heat. They need to be able to get their foot on the ball, and that's the way they do it with Charlie Beverley. A lot of appeals from the Fun of Queensland Heat players about there being a foul there potentially by Kai Rouse, but nothing doing, says the referee, and the Raw clear through Lek and back to Lloyd Cabillan, who's had plenty of the ball in the first half. Kai Rouse, his centre-back partner, who plays it back to Cabillan, and they are playing their own little game at the moment at the back there for Brisbane Roar, as they did for vast periods of time in the first half. And to great effect, it's the Raw lead by a single goal to nil. But he looked to press forward here for Ari Ishman, and Darcy McCormack had a quiet first half, and that ball's aimed towards Charlie Beverley, and Beverley still has possession. He's played just behind the onrushing Christopher O'Hare, and then Jamie Carroll arrived and played the ball over the crossbar. Good opportunity for Fun of Queensland Heat, looking to get back on level terms early in this second half. And that's how you feel how they're going to have to do it, using Charlie Beverley, the usual centre-back, to effect as a target man up front, and Jamie Carroll, who re-injured his right hamstring early in the first half, is not moving well at all. He's limping away up front. Is the Fun of Queensland Heat captain, and he is on the ball now but not moving freely. Sippy plays the ball through to Ari Ishman. Ishman does well, beats the challenge of Lek and crosses the ball, but it's easily dealt with by Kai Rouse. The referee's given a free kick here for the foul on Ari Ishman. He's scored one goal already so far this season. He wanders into the penalty area, looking to aim to get ahead on this ball. Jamie Carroll and Christopher O'Hare decide amongst themselves who's going to take this ball. It's O'Hare holding the ball now, but you'd say Jamie Carroll looks more likely, standing where he is, to whip a ball in, perhaps try and catch Macklin Freak off the ball. It's O'Hare. It's well cleared by the Brisbane Roar up towards Nathan Yoon. But what is Kevin Ward doing up there? And it's a free kick. Kevin Ward incredibly high up the field, and Nathan Yoon, the goal scorer, was flattened in the collision there. Kevin Ward miles off his line, in search of some action, hoping to presumably get the ball back upfield as quickly as possible. But Nathan Yoon's caused some concern here. The players crowded around. The young former City star who capitalised on Finn Beakhurst's effort when he hit the crossbar with an excellent shot in the first half, in the 38th minute. As we're panning around the clouds here today, I think there's more weather on its way. Clouds looking very ominous, and wind slightly picked up so far. Nathan Yoon is making his way to the sideline. He looks okay. It's a free kick to the Roar, which will be taken by captain Adam Sawyer. Been impressive in this first half, orchestrating play from his screening role. Daniel Lek plays the ball out towards the centre-back Kai Rouse. Rouse back to Adam Sawyer. Hopefully we get this game done and dusted before the weather comes, and Daniel Lek looking to put the ball through towards Kai Bolton, who's given a bit of a whack by Harry Ishman for his troubles, but it's a Brisbane Roar throw. be taken by Lek. Lek managed to, he's dispossessed by Epi, and it's another throw-in for the Brisbane Roar, earning possession inside the Far North Queensland Heat defensive half. 5 minutes gone in this second half. Brisbane Roar still lead by a goal to nil through Nathan Yoon. A wonderful poacher's goal. The ball came back off the post from a Finn Beakhurst effort. Wonderful Finn Beakhurst effort that looked destined for the bottom corner, beating Kevin Ward, and it was Nathan Yoon who was quickest to respond. That ball is aimed up towards Ari Ishman and can't quite stretch to get it. He was captain last week, Ari Ishman. Played all 24 games last year for the Heat and scored a goal last week against the Strikers, a vital goal as they came from a goal down with 10 men. The Heat up in Cairns, Barlow Park. Raw have done excellently in possession so far this game, and not that time though. Shiki Ono doing enough to maintain possession. He's being battled by Nathan Yoon, and Nathan Yoon does incredibly well there. And there's a late challenge there. A lot of discussion over on that far side, on both sides. Adam Sawyer shaking his head over a lack of action from the referee. And Jamie Carroll asking what action was needed in the first place. That's a teasing ball in behind the defence. Kevin Ward remained rooted to his line, unlike a couple of minutes earlier where he charged out and collected Nathan Yoon almost in the centre circle. He remained inside his 6-yard box there as that ball was whipped in. It was comfortably cleared by Ari Ishman, and Ward now clears the ball up over halfway towards Jamie Carroll, but it's dealt with well by Rouse. It's an assured performance from the youngster. A couple of tackles flying in now. The Heat need to impose themselves against these young stars, and that's a late lazy kick really from Charlie Beverley on the very comfortable looking Caliban, who takes it all in his stride and nonchalantly plays the ball forward to Adam Sawyer, who finds another teammate on that far side. It's Finn Beakhurst, but he's doing incredibly well there. Aaron Reardon. Reardon's done spectacularly to hold on to the ball there, but Adam Beverley now has the ball and he looks to play in Darcy McCormack, and McCormack plays the ball back to his captain Jamie Carroll. Move slightly breaks down, but still in possession with Sippy. And now it's Phillip, the substitute, plays the ball out wide to Shiki Ono. Sorry, was out for a throw-in on that far side for the Far North Queensland Heat. Still 1-0 to the Brisbane Roar. Christopher O'Hare ducking and weaving, and the ball towards Carroll, but it's well dealt with by Rolls, who jumps in advance of the marksman from the Heat and does still break now with Beverley, and Beverley looks to chip the ball gently into Jamie Carroll, who gives him a reproachful look. He's still discussing with his strike partner. Beverley could perhaps be excused for making that error in judgment there. He normally plays a centre-back. He started up front last week to cover the injured Jamie Carroll, who has re-injured his hamstring today and has not been moving well ever since he did injure that hamstring early in the first half. And Sippy plays himself into trouble with Rahmat Akbari. Akbari plays to Finn Beakhurst, who plays it back to Aaron Reardon, and the Raw build with Duncan out to Daniel Lek. Lek looking for an option and finds it in Lloyd Caliban. Caliban gives the ball away though, and it's now with Carroll, who's got acres of space in the centre of the park. Plays the ball out to the substitute Shigeki Ono. Ono on that far touchline, looks for a cross. Finds it, it's low, dealt with by Rouse, but only as far as Jamie Carroll, who is lurking on the edge of the area. Another chance for a cross, and Kai Riles once again deals with it, but only as far as Matthew Phillip. Okay, third time lucky perhaps for Ono, but it's gone out for a goal kick, and to the despair of the Far North Queensland Heat players, including Christopher O'Hare, who perhaps was adjudged to have got the final touch, but he can't believe it and he's remonstrating with the assistant referee on the far side. I don't think it was the assistant who made the call, it was the man in the middle with the whistle who gave the decision, and Far North Queensland Heat feeling that everything's going against them so far today as they trail their young opponents by a goal to nil. We're watching the Football Queensland live stream on the Football Queensland Facebook page, and PlayStation 4 National Premier League's Queensland round 4 clash between Brisbane Roar and Far North Queensland Heat. Queensland Heat looking to gain the advantage through Christopher O'Hare, but his very ambitious looking shot is blocked, and ball's now with Beakhurst, who's going to look to use his pace, and he is well tackled there in the backfield, and the Heat have got the better of this second half and are playing much better than they did in the first, when they really allowed Raw to use the ball onto him. It's a ball towards Phillip. It's easily dealt with, and Kai Bolton heads the ball back to Daniel Leck, but Ari Ishman's not having any of that, and he blocks the attempted pass back towards Kai Bolton, and the Raw have to build from a throw-in in their defensive half. And they do clear out towards Akbari, but still plenty of opportunity now for the Heat to advance, and it's going to be Ono with the shot. It's well blocked by Aaron Reardon. Ono still has possession, looks to cross towards Charlie Reardon, and his header flies just over the crossbar, and he can't add to the goal that he scored last week against the Strikers. It remains 1-0 to the Raw. As the clouds gather here at Meakin Park, it's starting to look very threatening. It's the rain that hammered the state's capital earlier in the day. As you can see by the slightly faded lines here at Meakin Park, there was plenty of precipitation coming down from the heavens. Of course, a couple of games to be postponed around the city. This game did go ahead, unlike the Olympic Moreton Bay game, which has been postponed to Tuesday night. The Raw will be glad that it has done, leading as they do a goal to nil against one of the form teams from last year. Lovely little touch and turn from Adam Sawyer there. Didn't make much of it, and Kai rolls back to Sawyer. Sawyer's been impressive in midfield so far as we approach the hour mark. Leck to Sawyer. Sawyer plays the ball delightfully out towards Reardon. Reardon looking for an option, finds Beakhurst. It was Beakhurst's shot that came back off the post that led to Nathan Yoon's goal. There's Beakhurst and Duncan. Duncan towards Leck, and it opens up for Leck, but his wild shot flies high over the crossbar, and once again Kevin Ward nowhere near interested in going to get that ball as it disappears into the trees behind the goal here at Meakin Park, and another is retrieved from the sideline. The Raw look like they're about to make a change. Jean Edric Lalinkunze, who will be coming on, or is preparing to come on. It's the ball with Kai Bolton, and Bolton does incredibly well to dodge the challenge there of Ishman, and Bolton weaves his way into the penalty area, and the ball flies back towards Finn Beakhurst, and it forces a good save from Kevin Ward, who dives well to his right and clears the ball up the field towards Josh Jennison, and the Raw will make that substitution now, and it is Yalan Kunze, who will be replacing Kai Bolton. Very tall figure of Kai Bolton makes his way to the bench. His last action in this game being to tee up a shot from Finn Beakhurst, who plied his trade at Moreton Bay United last year. Kai Bolton looking to be a key figure of John Consmina's setup at Brisbane City, but he was signed by the Brisbane Roar with only a couple of weeks to go before the start of the PlayStation 4 National Premier League's Queensland season. He's found a space here in the young Roar, and as John Consmina said at the time, it's good for Kai, and shows the development that's available through the PlayStation 4 National Premier Leagues through into these Hyundai A-League side setups. And Yalan Kunze will be looking to make his mark as he gains possession now and plays the ball to his teammate Ramat Akbari. Back out to Lek. Roar have weathered that storm from the heat as another one approaches from the heavens, but we'll worry about that if and when it hits us. For the moment, we'll enjoy the late afternoon sunshine here at Meakin Park as Daniel Lek looks to take the initiative and run into the box, plays back towards Sawyer, and it's going to be a great shot from Oliver Duncan, but it was always drifting wide, and another ball is required from the sideline. Always drifting wide there from Duncan, the New Zealand international, captained the under-17s for New Zealand in the World Cup qualifiers. The ball's aimed up towards Charlie Beverley, who's been a bit more involved this second half, and that's a poor touch from the former A-League man Lorenzo Sippi. And it's an opportunity here for Yalan Kunze. And Kunze looks to play in Finn Beakhurst, who shoots over the crossbar. It's another great opportunity from the Brisbane Roar, and Yalan Kunze did well to fashion the opportunity there for his teammate Beakhurst, who looked to go one better from his shot in the first half that hit the post, even though it did eventuate in a goal in the 38th minute for Nathan Yoon, and it is that goal that separates the two sides. 63rd minute here at Meakin Park. Brisbane Roar leading by 1-0 over the Far North Queensland Heat. Far North Queensland Heat were the form team for much of the PlayStation 4 National Premier League's Queensland season last year. They tailed off slightly towards the end. The ball's again towards Yalan Kunze's looked bright since he's come on to replace Bolton, and it's cleared as James Robinson looks for more from his side, even though they lead by 1-0 so far. Lek back towards Cabalan. Rolls towards Reardon. Reardon has plenty of space on the diagonal, and Yalan Kunze. Akbari. And now out on this near touchline to Lek. Lek beats Darcy McCormack, who's been quiet all game for the Far North Queensland Heat. Scored 3 goals last year, including against the Roar in the 2-1 win. It was one of 3 games the Far North Queensland Heat have won in a row against the Brisbane Roar youth, stretching back to 2015. Last time the Roar won was a 4-2 victory that season. Nathan Yoon chasing back well, but Matthew Phillip does well to retain possession and play the ball back towards Josh Jennison, who finds his keeper Ward, and the Heat will rebuild from the back again. And Kunze chasing down there and forces the mistake. That's a through ball aimed towards Finn Beakhurst, but never looked like getting there really. And Jamie Carroll now, who's been hampered badly by that hamstring injury on his left leg. It is his left. I think I've mentioned his right a couple of times, but it's definitely his left that is strapped underneath the shorts there. The Heat are trying to build from the back, as the Roar did ever so well in the first half. It's aimed up towards Beverley. Beverley does do well to retain possession, and It's played out towards Ishman. Ishman does well. Plays the ball into the area and looks to shoot, but it's a weak effort. It's gathered easily by Macklin Freak in the Raw goal, and the Raw will look to go again. Duncan to Reardon. And Rahmat Abari. Time from the AIS this year. His first year with the Young Raw. Lloyd Caliban with intent out towards Duncan. Duncan's doing well and does well, but Jack Glover does well to force the throw-in. There's a bit of a look from Duncan towards the official on this near sideline. So Cloud's looking ever more ominous, and that ball's aimed towards Beverley, but he can't get a head on it, and the Raw will build again. And this time it's Adam Sawyer running with intent into the box. Challenged by Phillip, and it's played back to Duncan. Duncan twisting and turning on the edge of the area. He's been well held up, but the Raw retain possession, and it's Akbari playing in a slightly deeper role in this second half. It's going to shape to shoot high over the crossbars, appealing for a corner, but I think that's optimistic. It's high over the bar for a throw-in. And the Farnworth Queensland Heat are going to make another substitution. It's Casper Hollenbeck. He's a visa player from the Netherlands. He is replacing Jamie Carroll, who's coming off with that slight limp. He hasn't looked right all game. You'd have to say perhaps he's returned a little bit too soon. It wasn't felt that his injury was quite as severe as it might have been, but he doesn't last the distance. Off the 68th minute, he's replaced by Casper Hollenbeck. He scored a goal. 2 appearances from the bench. He's adding to that so far, and it has an instant impact, even if it is an appeal against a handball. It didn't look like one of the referees waved it away. And the Raw look to rebuild again, and it looked like Edric Yalankunze was expecting the ball to be delivered to him then, and was almost rocking back on his heels, which allowed the Heat to take possession, and it's Ono on that far side, and he crosses the ball well into the area towards Charlie Beverley, who is the main target man now, and there's loud appeals for a penalty there. The referee waves the ball away, but it's Shigeki Ono who's on the ground, writhing on the ground, and the Heat are going to kick the ball out, and the referee subjected to a bit of an inquisition from Christopher O'Hare as he makes his way back, and the trainer is coming on for Shigeki Ono, who is still writhing around on the ground. So a rainbow appears in the background. That doesn't look too promising. With 20 minutes to go here, and judging by the radar, we're about to get smashed by a fair amount of heavy rain. And I, for one, am glad I'm undercover, which is not the case for the players who are using this break in play to gain a drinks break. We did have a drinks break in the opening half. It was incredibly humid. That humidity has died down slightly in this second half, but judging by that bank of cloud that's creeping up on us and has been creeping up on us all game, we could be in for a slightly damp finish. Yeah, a little bit of rain approaching on the radar as we check the Bureau of Meteorology. I'll take this opportunity to remind you that next week our live stream will come at you from Runaway Bay Super Sports Centre, and will be a round 5 clash between the Gold Coast City and Brisbane Strikers, both coming off impressive wins this round. Strikers 2-1 victors over Brisbane City, which the Farnworth Queensland Heat players were at keen observers, as their next trip down to Brisbane is to take on City at Corporate Travel Management Stadium at the end of April. The Gold Coast, they recorded a 2-0 win over South West Queensland Thunder, and they will welcome the Strikers to Runaway Bay. Strikers team who were going to be without Reece Meredith and what looks like for the rest of the season, last year's runner-up in the Golden Boot. Doing a knee injury. Looked to be quite serious up in Cairns, and it's unlikely that he will be returning for at least a few weeks, maybe longer. I'm Simon Smale. You're listening to and watching the live stream on the Football Queensland Facebook page of PlayStation 4 National Premier League's Queensland game between Brisbane Roar and Farn of Queensland Heat, and that's a little bit of drizzle appearing out on the field, unfortunately making its way into the press box, which is slightly alarming for all of us up here. People stepping back from the opening. The Roar get us back underway and play the ball back towards Kevin Ward through Kai Rouse. He's done well at centre-back, hasn't been challenged too far. Akbari has possession, and Edric Yalankunze working hard since he's come on. It's dispossessed again by Lorenzo Sipi. He's been sloppy this second half, has Sipi. And Akbari advances, but it's well cut out. Sipi looks to atone and does so, but just gives the ball straight to Beakhurst. And the Roar could look to challenge here, but that ball aimed towards Yalankunze. It's dispossessed well by the substitute Matthew Phillip, making his third appearance off the bench in this PlayStation 4 National Premier League's Queensland season as umbrellas are going up around us. Those clouds get ever closer. One goal to nil. Raw lead through Nathan Youn's 38th minute opener, capitalising on Finn Beakhurst's effort, which came back off the post. Nathan Youn, former City man, linking up with the former Moreton Bay man. He reacted fastest to pounce and bury the ball into the roof of the net. It's Beakhurst who played the ball out there. It's the Farn of Queensland Heat captain, standing captain Ari Ishman, maintains possession. Darcy McCormack stretching and pressing, but the Roar have been comfortable in possession all day, really. Play the ball out comfortably through Reardon. Reardon looking for options, plays it safe, back to Rouse. Around 15 minutes to go here at Meakin Park. And Sawyer bereft of options there, and it's played out by Lloyd Caliban. That's probably the first mistake he's made, really. He's been incredibly comfortable and assured at centre-back so far. Harry Ishman with the throw. He's taken over captaincy duties from the injured Jamie Carroll. Queensland have made all their substitutions now. Casper Holmbeck, the man, Dutchman, replacing Jamie Carroll. He's got big shoes to fill. Carroll contributing 15 goals last year, yet to get off the mark so far this season in the PlayStation 4 National Premier League's Queensland. His side yet to get off the mark in this game. Trail by a goal to nil, and running out of time to do anything about it. And that's a sloppy pass again as Beverley, who's perhaps showing his inexperience at leading the line, has been slightly hit and miss up there. Good target man, big, strong, good in the air, but has fluffed his lines a little bit when played through on goal. It's not his strength. And I'm sure the Heat will be looking forward to Bronson Coppen returning from suspension. That's a lovely ball aimed towards Nathan Youn by the captain Sawyer, but it's well cut out by the Heat, and they look to press and retain possession. But it's still the Roar, and that's good play on that far touchline to maintain possession, and it's Sawyer very calm and assured on the ball. Roar look to record their second win of the season. They've won in round 2 against the Pride, 4-3 up at Redcliffe, sorry. Alan Kunze doing well to find Beakhurst, and Beakhurst still has possession, plays in Yalan Kunze. Yalan Kunze back to Beakhurst, but he can't quite get a shot away, and that's poorly given away again by the Heat. This time O'Hare unable to trap the ball. Sloppy, and it's Leck plays the ball back to Cavillan. Oh, Noon does incredibly well, and it goes down under the challenge, the strong challenge of Jack Glover it was who made the challenge, but Yoon almost looked like a slightly delayed reaction. He must have got a knock on his knee perhaps. He's on his haunches now, limping, and he's not looking good, former City player, the goal scorer in this game. Typical poacher's goal, buried into the roof of the net, capitalising on Finn Beakhurst's effort. And looks to be in a bit of trouble, the youngster, and he falls to his backside after the ball is played out and looks to receive attention. Looked like an accidental clash, if anything. That rainbow gets ever more vivid in the background. It's the rain approaching. It's just a fine drizzling mist at the moment, more suited to the north of England than southeast Queensland. Remind you of the results during this break of play in this round 4 of the PlayStation 4 National Premier League's Queensland. Brisbane Strikers got back to winning ways, recording a 2-1 win at Corporate Travel Management Stadium over John Cosmina's Brisbane City. Gold Coast City recording a 2-0 win over South West Queensland Thunder. Western Pride getting up 2-1 over Redlands United, and the result of the round, the result of the season, really up in Townsville. Northern Fury hitting 8 past Sunshine Coast. That's right, 8 goals to 0. Astonishing result. Northern Fury are in action next Saturday at Redlands United. Do we see another shock from the Fury after their abject season last year, where they failed to record a win? It was 8 goals. Much welcome relief for the fans up in Townsville. Of course, one of Queensland's only previous defeat this season did come up against the Northern Fury up in the north of the state at Ingham. 2 goals to 0, the shock there, and that ball's given away to O'Hare, and O'Hare looks to play in Beverley, but once again the Heat fluff their lines somewhat, and it's that man Beverley who's not had much luck up front so far today, unable to link up with either O'Hare or Carroll, and it's harmlessly played through for a goal kick, which Macklin Freak won't rush to take. Nevertheless, does take it relatively quickly out to Kai Rolls, fresh off the plane from Japan, where he was with the Raw side that played against Kashimar Antlers. He started against Ulsan in Korea the other week. Ball's aimed towards his partner, Lloyd Cabillan. Remains 1 goal to 0 to the Brisbane Roar. I look to add to their advantage through the substitute Yalan Kunze, who's been lively so far. Plays the ball out wide. It's a cross aimed towards Finn Beakhurst, but he can't quite get on the end of it, and it goes out for a corner. And the Roar over so close to doubling their advantage here in the 79th minute of the game. Still 1-0 to the young Raw. Been the better side, you'd have to say, throughout this game, despite the Heat's resurgence and more possession in this game, in this second half. It's a set play out to Sawyer. Throwing back to the first half, Raw playing back towards your left. And Daniel Leck had to stretch for that, and he's getting up slightly gingerly. But Macklin Freak does well to come out of his area and clear high up towards Nathan Yoon, who doesn't seem to have too many ill effects from that knock he picked up earlier. Lovely ball out by Sawyer to Reardon. Reardon up to Duncan. Duncan looking for an option inside. Finds Yoon, the goal scorer. He's dispossessed though by Kasper Hollenbeck. Varroa maintain possession. Rolls to Sawyer. Out to Duncan. Sorry, out to Reardon. Back to Rolls. Sawyer and then Kabelan. Leck. Heat finally pressing the Raw. Oh, I think it's too little too late, but that ball's aimed up towards Yalan Kunze, probably the smallest player on the field to play a long ball towards. It's very diminutive, the striker, and Nathan Yoon earns the free kick from standing captain Ari Ishman. It's another more good work from the former City man, playing his trade for the Raw this season. Scored his second of the season earlier this afternoon, 38th minute. Real poacher's goal, capitalising on Finn Beekhurst's excellent effort. Alan Kunze looks to play in. Raw striker, but it's cleared up towards Freak, and Freak, no nonsense clearance out towards Reardon. The Heat will build, plays the ball back inside their defensive half. Up towards O'Hare. Being able to hold on to the ball up front has been a real problem for the Heat so far today. And the Raw once again gain possession, play the ball back to their centre-backs, and Kabelan under a bit of pressure from McCormack, but young Leck does well, and that's a terrible challenge and a yellow card for Jack Glover. He was hit pretty hard. It was a solid collision anyway, and Leck is slow to get up. It's his prerogative to take his time, and slightly gingerly to his feet, but he seems to be suffering no real ill effects as we approach 83 minutes gone. The Heat running out of time to get the equaliser, and the Raw looking great value for their 1-0 win, 1-0 lead as it stands. Through Sawyer. Sawyer has an ambitious effort from all of 35 yards. It sails high over the crossbar into the trees behind the goal, and the Raw are going to make another substitution. It looks like Omar Siddiqui will be coming on. So we await the boards to see whom he will replace, and it is Oliver Duncan, the New Zealand under-17 international. He's done a good shift over there on the left in the second half, and he's replaced by Omar Siddiqui. Brisbane Royals senior team, of course, playing in Adelaide at the moment at Cooper's Stadium. That match kicked off. We'll be approaching half-time there in Adelaide at the moment. The Heat looking to maintain possession and launch an attack. We'll see them get back into the game. And it's a swing shot from Charlie Beverley, but it's well cut out, but only as far as Sippy. Sippy plays the ball out towards Kasper Holmbeck, and Holmbeck shapes to shoot, and it's Beverley who gets his shot away in the end, and now Sippy, but his scuffed effort bounces wide of the goal, and the Raw dealt with that challenge pretty well in the end. And they survive that latest foray into the attacking half by Far North Queensland Heat, and it remains 1-0. So far in the Hyundai A-League, Adelaide United lead the Brisbane Roar senior team by 1-0. Iwara after 16 minutes. That's a foul on Shigeki Ono. He's been fouled a couple of times over on that far touchline. Overall, there's a loud cry from the men in green, and might this be an opportunity to get the ball up towards Charlie Beverley? Ishman's in there as well, and watch out for Josh Jennison lurking at the back post of the edge of the area, almost all on his own. He's aware of him is Daniel Leck. He's going to make a late run, you'd think, as this ball is swept in towards the back post, and it is towards Jennison, but it's well cleared by Varroa, and they hammer the ball clear up towards Finn Beakhurst, but McCormack plays ball back toward, but Varroa have done incredibly well to maintain possession now, and that's excellent work there by Ilan Kunze to retain possession, facing towards his own goal. Plays the ball back. That's a sloppy challenge there by Charlie Beverley, and that's a yellow card. Referee asking for some leniency from the Brisbane Roar bench, who reacted very aggressively to that challenge. It was late, it was sloppy, and that's a bad foul born out of frustration from Beverley, who hasn't had the best of games, and he's earned himself a yellow card. Referee pleading for some calm from both benches. Just 3 minutes of regulation time to go. We'll take the free kick, and it's played all the way back to Macklin Freak in the City got the striker's goal. That's a lovely through ball, attempted through ball aimed towards Nathan Yoon, who was lurking dangerously. Ari Ishman is the man who comes away there, and his through ball is asking a lot of Casper Holmbeck. Holmbeck slips when challenging Freak, but no harm done. He was a long way off in hindsight. The rain appears to have missed us here at Meakin Park, as the clouds sky slightly brightens. Never trust the weather radar in Brisbane. And it's the Brisbane Roar who lead here. Hasn't been raining goals exactly, but just the goal to nil. That's all it takes, really, from the Brisbane Roar. That's all they've had to do. It's a shot ended up falling at the feet of Beakhurst, who couldn't quite get it out from under his feet, and the ball is played out towards for a goal kick. It's the Heat asking for the ball to be played quickly by the fourth official, who didn't seem to be aware that there was a ball next to him. He took his time as we almost tick over towards just 1 minute to go. We'll keep you posted on the board. Held up well by Beverley there. Plays out towards Ishman, standing captain in the absence of Carroll, and that sums up the final of Queensland's Heat today, really. Sloppy pass to Darcy McCormack, and it's just ended up going out for a throw-in, and the Roar will look to attack, and Finn Beakhurst's played in now, and he's got Nathan Yoon in front of him, and Yoon does well but is challenged well by the final of Queensland Heat, and they will now look to advance, and it's great work there by Ramat Akbari, dispossessing Matthew Phillip. And the Roar have maintained possession so well this afternoon. Really, final of Queensland Heat haven't had many opportunities at all, and really haven't managed to impose themselves on the game against their much younger opponents. Roar playing with remarkable maturity. Future in orange looks bright based on this evidence, although final of Queensland Heat will be disappointed on their weekend's trip down to the state capital. Still time for an equaliser though. As we just tick over the 90, the assistant referee holds up the board saying 4 minutes of added time will be played. Can the Heat get something out of this game? To do so, they'll need the ball, and the Raw have been incredibly stingy so far. And it's a Raw throw-in, despite the vehement protestations from Ari Ishman. Certainly didn't look like Raw got the last touch. But that's a dangerous ball played in, eventually to Beverley, and that's gone over the top towards Holmbeck. Casper Holmbeck, and it is a corner for the Far North Queensland Heat. With just 3 minutes of added time remaining on the clock. This could be the opportunity that the Far North Queensland Heat have been waiting for. And Christopher O'Hare deliver into the box. Once again, Jennison is lurking at the back post. It's aimed towards the middle, and it's ever so nearly latched onto a Far North Queensland Heat head, and there's some tired-looking Raw bodies in the box there. Aaron Reardon in particular, stretching out his hamstrings. It's gone out for a corner, despite what the assistant on that far side says, although he may be slightly obscured by the low sun as the shadows creep across Meakin Park's surface here. And it's another corner for the Heat. This is their best spell of the game in stoppage time. That ball's high into the odds. Charlie Beverley, and it's out for a Heat throw-in, which will be taken by Jennison. Jennison launches that ball in towards Lorenzo Sippi, but Raw will look to break through Beakhurst. Beakhurst looks to use his pace and gets away from Jack Glover, but Glover uses illegal means to halt the run of the former Moreton Bay United flyer. And it's a free kick to the Brisbane Roar, and you'd have to say that might well be that, with just over a minute remaining. The Raw certainly won't be in a rush to take this free kick. It'll either be Finn Beakhurst or Daniel Leck will be taking this free kick. It's going to be Leck. Beakhurst creates an option ahead of him, but instead it's played back to Kablani. Kablani finds Yalakunze at the back post, and his attempted shot just loops up off his boots and didn't really strike it with any conviction. It almost looked like a tentative strike there from the young substitute, Edric Yalankunze. But chance goes begging for the Raw to really put the game to bed, but they maintain possession through Nathan Yoon and Rahimat Akbari. But that ball's played up towards Casper Holmbeck. It's asking far too much of the Dutch substitute though. And Akbari will look to clear, but he's dispossessed by Christopher O'Hare. And can the Heat create one last opportunity? Ball's played into the box, and it's Charlie Beverley at the back post, and the Far North Queensland Heat have stolen a point here at Meakin Park. Look at the replay. Beverley at the back post, all on his own, some tired Raw bodies. And that's what Far North Queensland Heat have been striving for all game. And it's taken 93 minutes for them to find a clear opportunity, and they take it. Charlie Beverley, that makeshift striker, scoring his second goal in as many games. Normally centre-back is Charlie Beverley. He's been playing up front initially in the absence of Jamie Carroll, but remained up front after scoring last week against the Strikers, after Bronson Coppen received a red card and suspension. But the Raw can still have an opportunity here through Beakhurst. Beakhurst on the right hand side is held up by the captain Ishman. Beakhurst does well, plays the ball out towards Yalan Kunze, and that's the last of the action. And You'd have to say the Far North Queensland Heat have stolen a point against the Brisbane Roar, who led from the 38th minute through Nathan Yoon. He latched on to Finn Beakhurst's effort, which came back off the post after beating Kevin Ward. Nathan Yoon was the man in the right spot at the right time, and he buried the shot into the roof of the net to give the Roar a deserved 1-0 lead, which they looked like they'd be able to maintain throughout the game. But right at the death, with almost the last kick of the second half, Charlie Beverley, who'd had a pretty anonymous game up to that point, rather than getting booked to a rather crude challenge towards the end, born out of frustration due to his lack of performance, he ended up being the saviour for the Far North Queensland Heat, who will go back to Cairns with a point. And they will wait anxiously on Jamie Carroll's injury, because they did not look overly threatening for the majority of the game, yet have scored right at the death. It's finished here at Meakin Park. Brisbane Roar 1, Far North Queensland Heat 1. Join me, Simon Smale. Thank you very much for listening and watching this live stream of the PlayStation 4 National Premier League's Queensland clash between the Roar and Heat, courtesy of the Football Queensland Facebook page and SRS Broadcasting Services. Thank you very much. You can join us next round at the Gold Coast City versus Brisbane Strikers clash. So thanks very much for joining us. We'll see you next week.